I'm absolutely thrilled to be here today and to announce that Michael has agreed to become the One Life first ambassador. We have had a fantastic association over many years with the WA Football Commission in terms of the suicide prevention strategy called One Life. 450,000 over a number of years now, and we were so thrilled that in August last year we were able to renew our contract with the WA Football Commission. To have our first ambassador, a One Life ambassador, means a lot to us, and we really honestly couldn't have chosen anybody, or we just couldn't have found anybody to be a better ambassador than Michael. And it's so important to us because he is a leader in the Dockers Football Club, fantastic player across the state and across the nation, so well respected for his leadership role with young men in particular, but across all people, all of the thousands of people that are fans of Michael's and football. And of course, I'm very proud Noongar man that adds to our significant bonus in having an ambassador that can reach out to Aboriginal communities as well. It's such an important thing for us because suicide and suicide prevention really happens around everyday people like mums and dads and families, extended families. It's with work colleagues, with teammates, just everyday people that you see in your community, and we need people to really step up and talk about the importance of when somebody's feeling that they are not travelling too well, that it's absolutely fine, it's absolutely appropriate and okay for them to reach out and get the support that they need. And we think that Michael is just a terrific role model and able to deliver that kind of message for us across Western Australia. So we're just thrilled to have somebody like Michael here as our first ambassador, our One Life ambassador.
Yeah, no, it's such an honour for me to be a part of One Life. Especially, it really struck home when I heard that the Indigenous population is above average of Western Australia for suicide, and I suppose for me that really struck home, especially when I was younger a couple of years ago. One of my close mates, I called him a brother boy, committed suicide, and he was only young, so that's the reason why I want to be a part of this, and why I'm so excited, and I'm thankful that they just chose me, and as I said, I'm very excited and just want to get out to the community, the schools, and do what I can to stop it.
Questions, guys?
What will the message be, son? You reckon, what will the message be to the Indigenous group?
Well, as the Minister pointed out, is that if you do feel like something's going on, make sure you speak out, especially with Indigenous men. There's always a stigma of trying to be strong and be a strong man, but the thing is to speak out no matter who you speak to, friends, family, whoever, just speak out and sort of get things off your chest.
Did you ever go through times when you felt you had to get things off your chest?
Yeah, for me personally, yeah. I've had a lot of things where I had to get off my chest, and nothing was better than to speak out, especially the family, mum and dad, my brother, stuff like that. Could be anyone. You can even go speak to your neighbour if you want to speak to your neighbour. Just close family members, close friends. Just sort of get it off your chest and speak out.
You said it hit home for you with the passing of a friend. How did that affect you personally?
Yeah, it affected me quite a lot, especially because I saw him as a cousin. It was only a mate, but he was a close friend of me and Nick Nat Nui as well. So at the funeral, it really struck home, and if only he spoke out, maybe people would have known. Maybe we could have came to him and spoke to him, but no one really knows until it happens. So the underlining point is just to make sure you speak out and speak to anyone you can.
So when you look at the Indigenous community and families, they're quite broad and quite big, aren't they? So is there certain individuals within those families that you hope to maybe connect with? Is it the males? Is it the elders? Who are you looking at maybe targeting and trying to educate?
You just target anyone. You target as many people as you can. You know, the main point for me is that I really want to get out to schools because they're the ones who are going to be the future. The more people you speak to, the more it's going to branch out. So, you know, I want to get out to schools as soon as possible, speak to them, because it's just like planting a seed. Plant a seed here, let it grow, then you plant another one somewhere else. So, yeah, the main place I want to get to is the schools.
You've done a fair bit of schools work sort of already over your time. Do you feel a sense of responsibility being part of the Aboriginal community and even just specifically like the Midland community? Do you feel like these things, by taking them on, you're somehow taking them more to that specific community? Yeah,
well, you know, it could be anywhere, but Midvale is the main one as well, Midland, especially because I was doing a mentoring course there at my old school. You know, speaking to kids there, a lot of kids are, you know, I wouldn't say in trouble, but like to have fun. They like to get out there and do their own thing, and majority of it does get them in trouble. But you know, I just want to get out there, speak to kids, speak to as many kids as I can, and you know, sort of spread a message.
Do you sort of feel, obviously you were sort of in a period a couple of years ago where your football was on the line, you've been able to turn that around. Do you think the young Indigenous will be able to relate with you and sort of show that, you know, if you put in the hard yards that you can turn it around, and with the support of family and friends you can get to where you want to get to? Yeah, certainly. You know, I proved it, and you know, if I can do it, anyone can do it. I sort of thought my footy was over. You know, that's the same as a lot of other younger kids out there. If they think that they can't do nothing, it doesn't have to be with footy. It could be with work, life, school, whatever. If you can just put your mind to it, I feel you can achieve anything.
It's about having a future and something to strive for and look forward to. During that period of time, did you sense that you still had a future, or did you get a bit down on yourself? You
know, for the first, speaking to my family was the main thing. You know, they sort of drove me to being where I am now. I was sort of in the slums at the moment when I first got sent back, and you know, as I said, speaking out to someone really helps you heaps. And I'm glad that I spoke to my family, spoke out about how I was feeling inside, and once I got that off my chest, you know, I wanted to focus on my footy and get back to it. Speaking
of your footy, you seem absolutely flying out there. You were here far earlier than you needed to be. Are you that keen to get into the year, considering what happened last year? Yeah, no, you know, considering missing most of last year, you know, I was a bit down on myself, and you know, for me to come back earlier, a week or two earlier, you know, in pre-season with the younger boys, I feel I really had to do it, and you know, I sort of felt like I let myself down, as I said, and I just wanted to get back, put in the hard yards early. And I suppose all the boys come back fit and firing, ready to go. You see Matt DeBoer, Tendai Mzungu, boys like that who just non-stop train. Clancy Pearce was another one who didn't you know, stop training. So you know, the team's going to be harder to break into this year. We got less boys in rehab at the moment, so for me, there was the main drive behind coming back early. What was? Yeah, it seemed like they pulled you back in December a little bit. What was that? Did you have a niggle, or you just went too hard too early? No, I don't know if I meant to say it, but I had a bit of a niggle. I had shoulder surgery, so it was only a slight shoulder surgery, which you know only kept me out about a week or two. But yeah, shoulder's going good, and I'm feeling pretty good right now. I just want to focus on the next step of pre-season.
I reckon your leadership's been amazing and really improved in the club. What do you think about that? Do you want to be a leader? Would you want to be part of the leadership group and take that role?
You know, in training, I'm just trying to work on another facet of my game. If I'm having a bad game, I want to you know, stand out by my leadership, by my talk and stuff like that. In terms of being a part of the leadership group, you know, the boys are just going to come together and pick the leadership group as they do every year, and no one really expects to be in the leadership group. And I just want to focus on my training. I'm not really looking forward to, you know, leadership group. That's up to the team, and I'm just going to focus on training.
Have you surprised yourself though, the fact that you have become a leader so quickly from where you came from as well?
Yeah, well, I've been here 7 years now, and I feel like I need to, you know, step up. 24 years of age, there's a lot of other younger boys in the team, and I don't see it as like being a leader. I just see it as just giving advice and helping out, trying to make them as good a footy players than what they've ever been. So for me to give them advice, I don't see it as being a leader, I just see it as being a good bloke.
But I saw it actually when you came back from your long-term injury. You played for Peel here against South, and I don't think you ever stopped talking. You're encouraging, you're barking at your teammates. It was a close game, I remember. But it seemed a different Michael Walters. Do you feel a lot confident within yourself? Do you feel a lot confident on the field to actually impart your opinion and advice to fellow players?
Yeah, I do. I feel more confident than what I've ever been. I feel like I've grown as a person, in footy and outside of footy, and for me to just, talk to younger boys, as I said, just to give advice. I don't even realise I'm doing it. I'm known to be a bit of a big mouth, but I just want to, get out there and just give advice as much as I can and help out the younger boys.
When was it because you've obviously been giving advice the whole time, people don't necessarily listen. What point did you start shouting things out and you noticed people were taking your advice on board?
That's a good question. If they don't listen, then obviously they can't hear me, so I sort of shout a bit louder. So that's when they sort of get the point, and if they don't listen, then I might even get angry at them. But the boys are pretty good, especially at Peel. Noticing going back there, the structures and the game plan, they understand it, and whenever someone yells out or opens their mouth, we sort of have a good connection at Peel and at Freo that we listen, and we sort of have trust in each other. So we sort of just listen to it as well.
We've seen a bit of a taste of you through the midfield. Will we see more of you in the midfield, or do you think forward pocket, half forward is your role in this team?
I'd like to go through the midfield, and I'd like to stay down forward as well. But a change up if I'm getting shut down in the forward line, I'd love to go in the midfield and sort of have a bit of a run around there and try and sort of lose my opponent. But I love the forward line. I love working with Ballas, Pav, Maney. We have a good connection, and I hope that carries on for a little while longer.
Do you train with the midfield, or do you pretty much stay?
I've done a fair bit with the midfield, but mainly in the main team drills. It's down forward and still trying to build that connection with Hayden Crozier and Max Duffy coming up as well. Try and build that connection with them, and me and Bella's been helping out a fair bit with them.
So, Sonny, do you know what the sign? You may not know this yet, but do you know what the signs are for a young Indigenous boy for his family that they can sort of pick up on and realise maybe he does need help?
Just maybe if they're quiet, if they seem to be stuck in themselves, if they aren't extroverted out there, and usually they are. If they seem to getting on the alcohol a bit more, whatever stuff like that, and they seem to just duck off and you don't see them for weeks, bit quiet, sitting back in their room, stuff like that. It's just signs of depression, stuff like that. Everyone sort of can see the signs, but it's whether you go and speak to them or, the first step is to go and talk to them. Even if you do notice it, you could be wrong, but you're better off going to speak to them than to let it go and something happens.
And will you hopefully speak to a lot of young Indigenous players and drive them towards your profession, football, because that keeps them focused?
Yeah, I'm keen to speak to anyone. It's a wide community. It's not only Indigenous people, but the non-Indigenous as well. And I'm looking forward to speak to anyone. Just try and get it out there. Indigenous people is a main driving point, but if I can speak to anyone, I will.